Other people will knock on or come on as they arrive. All right, so share screen. Okay, let's move you down. Can't move you down till I've done that. Move it out of the way. Come on, move. Slideshow. Right. Okay.
I'm watching on the TV. I don't need my glasses. So I look sideways. I can see you there as well. You're on stereo.
Okay. Right. So 15th Feb. As you know, the thing this year is about Stronger Together, and we've got a 5-year thing where we actually end up a centenary for Clean Easy. There's not many companies around that can talk about that. So first of all, I just want to recognise all the achievements for period 2. So you got bad neck tonight, Kez?
Yeah.
Okay, so period 2, these are all the people who joined the business in period 2 in our team. Lorraine Wilson, Sally Stevens, Sidika Raj, Lindsay Pareto, Kimberly Mackay, Mark Eaton, Victoria Obadogo, Gilia, Aaron, and Gerald. Oops, I should have gone back one. Yeah. Perry Lee, John Lee, Tanya Hill, Lucy Keane, Sandip, Catherine, Jatinjit, Lizzie and Laura. So we've had quite a lot of new starters. As you know, for all new starters, they have the welcome rewards. And last period we had the following: Darius, Clara, Tracy, Kerry, Kimberly, Aaron and Johan all achieved their first part 1. Part 1 is simply £150 worth of orders, and the options you get are either to have 50 main books, 5 dropship credits, which are going to become more important now, the changes on the dropship charges, and all 50 catalogues. And you know K-Life are coming out next month.
So there is no more free postage now, yeah?
No. Well, there is free postage, but not dropship. Obviously, at the moment, it's £100 for new starters, £150 for existing. I think people were taking too many advantages of it, placing 2 or 3 £50 orders in a week.
Yeah, but that's only for the customers.
I think people were taking advantage. To avoid paying postage and packaging, they were placing small orders. I know one person that was placing a £50 order every day.
It was sent to home, to himself.
Yeah.
But you can do that, or suppose not to.
You're not supposed to. I mean, if you save it up over the week, you can place an order 150 quid for no post to package. Every time we place an order, it's costing the company money, which is then coming out and mining your pockets. There's always people who try to book the system. There you go. People are used to paying postage and packing, to be totally honest. You buy anything from QVC, you buy anything from Ideal World. Everything's got postage and packaging on it. So it's just the company trying to make it easier for us. Anyway, top retailers. Last period, Leo and Amanda did £1,907. Now, Amanda and Leo only do catalogues. They don't do online.
They don't do online.
Pardon?
They don't do online, did you say?
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
Pam McGinley, 1,097, and Diane Newell, 1,052. Top recruiters last period, Ian and Joanna Tonks, 5 people. Simon and Fiona Beale, 4 people. And Gail and Darren, 3 people. Okay, so I want to say to everybody who's on that list, thank you very much for being awesome. Okay. So upcoming events. Our summer showcase in June, the 2nd of June is at Cheltenham Racecourse. And when we launch the Christmas catalogues and big Christmas showcase is on the 1st of September. We have 10 Steps workshops. At the moment, there's only 2 around the country. Bristol, 15th of April, 10th of June and 12th of August. The next 3, so they're running one every 3 months. And in Barnsley, they're running one every month. However, they're not running one in March simply because the big one's running, I think, in March.
Because what? Say that again.
Big one is running in March.
What's the date of the big one? Andy, do you know offhand?
Pardon?
What's the date of the big one? Do you know?
I haven't got it off the top of my head, but it was being promoted today.
I know it's...
So what I thought I would go through today, because as you know, we have different things each training session, is just the basics on sponsoring. One thing with our business is that you can get, if you ever rowed a boat, any of you ever rowed a boat?
Yeah.
Okay. If you just pulled on one oar, you'd go round in circles.
Yep.
You wouldn't be going forward. The same if you just stop rowing on that oar and started pulling on the other oar, you go round in circles in the other way. So this is like a set of scales. Whoops, wrong way. Yeah, okay. This is somebody with mainly retailing, and this is somebody with mainly recruiting. The ideal is to get the balance right. Now, the balance at the beginning may be highly aimed towards retailing because people want to get a story, they want to get confidence in the business, etc., etc. But the problem with that is if you just do retailing and the day that you're ill or the day you go on holiday, your income disappears. So at some stage, it would be a good idea to have a few team members in your team, and if you don't want to do massive recruiting. But it's getting the balance for you. If somebody needs a lot of money from retailing, I have no problem with them doing loads of retailing. But if they want a team build, like myself and Sharon, we were interested in team building. We did a small amount of retailing and lots of sponsoring because we needed to get to the stage where we could afford to quit our jobs. Okay. So everyone will be different. It's imperative to have at least 15 people in your team to achieve gold distributor. There's a magic number with everything. It's like putting postcards out in shop windows. There's a certain number before you get responses. The same with the adverts. That's why we say join 50 selling groups. You need at least 15 active people. And if you have that, then you'll always be a gold distributor. Okay. We have 3 types of distributor in our business. We have our retail distributors, want to work a few hours a week and earn anything from £50 to £150 a week part-time and £300 plus full-time. They'll work around children, study, work commitments, whatever encouragement, will not and does not want to recruit. Their activity, let's move you all over, is purely retailing. Okay. Then we have our team leaders. Put a few extra hours a week in and they'll want to earn more. They're more ambitious than the A's. They want a good second income to fit around family, study, work. Their activity will be the balance of retailing and recruiting, and they'll be recruiting A's and B's, people like themselves and people who just want to make some retail business, but occasionally C's. They will start to provide training and support. They maybe host house meetings and help with planning. 20 hours to full-time is our business builders, and they're looking for the bigger incomes. They want to achieve a secure, continually growing business with long-term financial independence, and their activity will be retailing, but now looking for people who are team building and business building, and not so many retailers. They'll understand how to team build. They'll provide training support. They'll have good people skills. They'll be loyal, fair, good listeners. They'll be focused, unselfish, and willing to learn. They'll create newsletters, host meetings, help with planning. It says here be a motivator. I don't believe I'm a motivator. I believe I can help people become motivated if it's within them. But above all else, they are committed. And some people say I should be committed. Nobody laughed. Okay.
I'm just not going to argue with her.
So out of the three groups, which one is the most important?
All of it. Well, retailing in a way, but all of them really.
Okay. Well, it is. They're all crucial to the success of your business. If you don't have any retailers, people who just want to retail, your volume is going to be much lower. If you don't have team builders and retailers, then obviously you're not going to get anybody growing your business. It'll all be down to you, and your business builders are vital. But what you don't want to do is undervalue anybody just because they only want to do a little. If somebody joins the business, they just want to make 20, 30, 40 quid a week, fine. That's what they want to achieve. Help them achieve it. But the only way to build a strong, profitable business is to teach the importance of keeping an equal balance between the retailing and the sponsoring. And that means understanding why somebody's joined and then helping them achieve their goals. And you must make it a commitment to your new business. It's no good expecting it to give you the sort of, if you want bigger income, it's not going to happen overnight. But you can get a very good income very quickly. So when a new distributor starts, you need to have a plan with them. Now, sometimes it's easy to get information from people. Sometimes it's not so. Because the person, if they don't know you, they need to build up a relationship with you to trust you. And they don't always want to say what they're thinking. Okay? So to get a time commitment out of them, how much time have you got available? It isn't always easy. But we must help them get a personal retail plan, because if they don't have a target, then they're not going to stretch themselves. The issue, once again, when people first start, is they're not certain about what they can achieve in the time they've got available. So it's up to us to coach with them. But we want to set personal goals for them to achieve in their first 90 days. Now, our first 90 days, we were gold distributors and we were earning £1,000 a month. That was our goal, and we achieved it. Once you know what that is, then you can help them put together an activity plan. Usually you can go through this new distributor plan a week after a new person started. Hello, Joanna. You managed to get on? I'm not sure if you can hear me, but there you go. I can see you. And then it's in, you're right, Joanna.
Finally.
Yeah. We were all just watching you. And then you can review on a regular basis. Okay. Now, your first step to sponsoring is to either get the phone ringing or to start ringing people yourself or messaging people or whatever else. Okay. And there's two ways of doing it. One is cheap and fast, and the other one is slow and expensive. Amazingly, everybody says, I'd like to do it cheap and fast, but they end up doing it slow and expensive. I don't know why. We did it cheap and fast. We were gold within 3 months. And we do it by actually doing what we call rods in the pond. Now, the thing is that we're on the internet, so people tend to take the easy options rather than the harder options. Now, one of the hardest ones is warm market. Now, you don't need to be scared of your warm market. Warm market is just simple with people in our lives. Now, we're not looking to recruit them. What we're aiming to do, however, is to let them know that we run our own business and we are looking for people who'd be interested in making some extra money. And if they know of anybody who might be interested, would they please put our names forward or pass on our details? Now, amazingly enough, if you do this, some of those warm market people will turn around, well, actually, what's it doing? How could I get involved? Yeah, if it's somebody you really trust, you can really share it with them. When we started, we had a videotape, and we were told, go around and just show everybody what you're doing. So, for instance, my mum, we picked the phone up and we said, "Mum, are you in?" Obviously, she was in because she picked the phone up. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to pick up the landline, would she? Anyway, so I said,
That's like, are you awake?
Yeah, I know. Are you awake? Yeah. I said, look, put a kettle on, we're on the way round. So we went round and we said, right, me and Sharon, we just started our own business and we wanted to share with you what we're doing. And we put the video on. It's only 15 minutes, but she watched the video, and at the end of it, she said, could I do that? And she joined. She became a gold distributor. As she became a senior distributor, she qualified for Cape Town. She qualified for Vienna. So, you know, people, all you're doing is basically showing people. And you make a list of everybody you know. Now, it's much easier to find people on Facebook now. But you should ask them all, because you never know. The worst scenario is you don't tell people you know. And unbeknownst to you, they're looking for an extra income. And guess what? They join somebody else. Because they answer somebody else's advert. And once they're in the business, they cannot join your team. Okay? So, make sure you have a list of everybody. You don't get so many milkmen nowadays, but you do get postmen, dentists, doctors. Yeah, postman's already half trained, isn't it? They can put catalogues through doors because they can put posts through doors. They've just got to teach them how to pick them up again. So there you go. Then there's the how. Who sold us? This is just a list. You know, who lives across the road? Who lives there? Who teaches my children? Blah blah blah. Okay.
Uni student.
Yeah, uni student. So why do we promote Warm Market? Well, there's a gentleman called Chris Mason-Paul. Most of you may well have heard of him. He's the first guy we met. We went to Sheffield for a training. That was our local meeting. Travelled from Leicester to Sheffield. And Chris at that time was earning £16,000 a month. But when Chris started, he made a list. He basically made a list of everybody he knew, but he actually recruited a young lad, an 18-year-old lad. Now the 18-year-old actually didn't want to do it. His mum wanted him to do it because he got nothing to do. So he joined, and what Chris did with him, he made him make a list of people he knew, and they contacted a gentleman called Nigel. All right, and Nigel joined the business. Now, he did exactly the same with Nigel, and he said, right, made a list, and on that list was Roy and Margaret Japp. Okay, now, what happened was Roy and Margaret joined the business. Now, this 18-year-old didn't want to do it, so after a short period of time, he disappeared out of the business. Nigel didn't pay the company for the goods he had. So he was asked to leave. All right. That meant that now Roy and Margaret Japp were in Chris Mason-Paul's business, and he didn't know them, but he knew somebody who knew somebody who knew them. And they became frontline to Chris Mason-Paul. Okay. Now, this is just one figure we picked out. In period 12, 2009, this is a few years ago, obviously, but just give you an idea. He turned over £1 million in that period, of which Roy and Margaret Japp did nearly 43% of it. This is why we used the figure, because it's a £1 million figure. It's easier for us to show you. They did 43% of his business, and he didn't even know them. He knew somebody who knew somebody. So it's not necessarily the people you introduce, it's who they lead you to. Now, if somebody joins your business, what you should do is frog them. Now, what do I mean by frog them? I would normally do a big training. I've not got time for that tonight, but basically you make a list of F-R-O-G is frog. first of all, you put a person's name down and you find out, say, right, who is friends with Annabelle, say, for instance, and you write down all the names of people who are friends with Annabelle. Who do you associate with Annabelle? And then you think about that person. You say, right, what do they do in their spare time? All right, might be go to football. Who else do I know goes to football? And you just open up your mind. So you then think, okay, what do they do for a living? Who else do I know who's an architect or whatever they are? And also geography, where do they live? Who else do I know who lives in there? So it's all about just opening your mind. And you end up growing your list on and on and on. So we've got rods in the pond, 3 foot rule. Yeah, that's the one. The 3 foot rule.
I did that this week.
Pardon?
I did the 3 foot rule this week, a couple of days ago.
Well done.
The student is studying next to me. I gave her a card, and she's a business student as well.
Good. Well done. A 3 foot rule is simply walking up to somebody and saying, for instance, I went to McDonald's with Katie Johnson, and they used to have a saying that said, I'm loving it. Well, the girl was behind the counter, and I said to her, you don't look like you're loving it. And she started to, oh no, I've been on since 6 o'clock, and all the whinging and moaning came out. And I said, well, look, I'm looking for some good people. Would you do me a favour? Would you give me a number? I'll give you a call. Maybe if you're of interest to you, it may not. And that's how it works. Then we have customers. People who actually like the products are people who are potentially good people to join your business. Then we have business cards, simple business cards. Okay, give you an example of a couple. Want to get out of the rat race if you like, potential to earn more in a month than most people earn in a year, and the website, your website. Excuse the unusual approach. I'm looking for quality people to fill executive positions that pay over 30 grand per annum, part-time or full-time, www.personachievable. That is the card that I responded to. It was on my notice board at Office World. Referrals. Somebody's not interested. Ask them, do you know anybody who might be interested? Flyers. These are things you might hand out or put through put through letterboxes, that type of thing. And sort of wording we might use. Want an extra income, prepared to work 6 to 10 hours a week. For an extra £400-600 a month, contact me. To find more serious people, you might use wanted, hard-working people, not the sitting down type, to expand a simple business in your area, part-time or full-time. We then have shop cards. And these are simple things. Where are we? Like these. Oops, wrong way up. There you put in shop windows. And sort of paying off those Christmas bills. You use different things, different time of year. We urgently require full-time, part-time, over 18s and like to earn. Or beat the bills, earn £400-600 per month, working 10-12 hours, don't delay for more information. Newspaper adverts, a bit more expensive, something we're looking at the moment. We may be coming back to the team to see if anybody wants to be interested in the syndicate. When we do newspaper adverts, we advertise only in local papers and we do it on jobs night. We only use lineage. We don't do box adverts because that's what they're trying to sell us. We don't put it under business opportunities, and we don't advertise if they ask you to say there's an outlay. It doesn't really happen nowadays. And we use our contact manager to get info. I will be going through the contact manager in the leadership group on Monday. And we don't generally advertise on a bank holiday. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. The reason is that everybody else doesn't, so you might be better off doing it. It's a difficult one. And all we do is put something like £400-600 a month, 10-15 hours a week, delivering and collecting catalogues, or you can put online retailing, whatever you like to put. 3 vacancies only, immediate start. Why do we put 3 vacancies only? Well, basically, it's a call to action to say there's limited jobs. Obviously, as you know, there isn't. Or something like, do you spend 2 more hours per day on social media? If so, we have an exciting online opportunity for you to be part of. full help and support given. Earn an extra £500,000 per month. Must be 18 plus. Please, distributors needed. You might be a bit more upfront. Excellent package, full part-time, flexible hours. Posters. Posters you can print off and put on telegraph poles. Make sure you don't put them on or sides of the road. Make sure you don't put them on council furniture, because they do not like it if you put it on their lampposts and stuff. DVDs. You get simple DVDs that the company provide. You can hand them out to your customers. I was just looking for them. Oh, they're all over there. I'm not going to get one out now. For them to look at. Internet advertising. We know all about that. Now, some people will do a few of these rods, and they're working at what we call 30%. You have to remember, not everybody's on Facebook. Not everybody's doing it. So what people do is they pick maybe one or two rods. So what you do is you miss out on a lot of people. If you do a few more, then you'll be working at maybe 60%. But if you did all of them, then you've got a great chance of growing your business. Now, there are more rods. For instance, there's car signs. There's labels you can put on shopping trolleys. Now, Tesco's don't like that. When our kids were younger, we used to send them on a bus journey into town, and they used to have little stickers which said "work from home," or catalogue distributors and a telephone number. And we used to get them to go on the buses and put them on the back of the seats on the buses, so that people are sitting in the bus. All they can see is my label, my advert, and we got phone calls from it. Okay, so 2 words: massive action. When you see these words, they'll paint a picture. Like if I said to you pink elephant, you'll picture a pink elephant. You hear massive action, most people think, oh, I see me doing loads and loads of action. It's not. Let me explain. And I'm going to do this very quickly because I've only got 9 minutes. Massive action is about a lot of people doing a little. So here's an example. You join the business in period 1 and you put out 50 catalogues a day. We're not going to talk about online. We're just going to cover a few of the areas. And somebody puts 50 catalogues out 5 days a week. That's the average of £1 a catalogue. They end up with £1,000 worth of orders. And they put out 4 postcards per day for 5 days. Now, when you put a postcard out, you put it out for a month. So that's 20 postcards. They drop out 50 leaflets a day. It's not many, it's a small amount. But over a week, it's 250. Over a period, it's 1,000. And they go out to speak to 3 people a day. Now, Bob Webb, who's the company's top earner, when he started, he had 5 marbles or stones in his pocket. And when he spoke to somebody, he transferred 1 marble from pocket to his other pocket. And he would not go home until he'd spoken to he'd moved all the marbles. So therefore, DVDs out, handing them out, making sure people see them, and maybe doing some adverts. With all this action, you can easily increase your team by 4 people. The problem is that some people would do odds and clods. They won't do all of it. And then they wonder why they don't get the responses. It's because they don't do all of it. It's a bit like taking a car out and not putting petrol or diesel in it. You're not going to get very far. If you have something missing out of your system and you don't use it, then it's not going to work for you. So, period 2, what you've done is you've increased your team by 4 people. So you and 4 others do the same. Your turnover is 5,000. You're now having 100 postcards being put out. You're having 5,000 leaflets. You're having 300 new contacts, and you're having 60 videos or DVDs being put out. And you've got more shares than newspaper adverts. With all that action, each of you could introduce 4 new distributors. That's 20 new distributors plus the original 5 equals 25 distributors. And obviously you're a gold distributor now because you've now got a turnover of 25 grand. Postcards, 500. You can see how it works. It's not about you doing lots. It's about you setting an example and then working with people who you can work with. In this scenario, 125 distributors. Now, don't get me wrong. Period 1 isn't going to 1, 2, 3. But imagine period 1 is 1 month and 3 months later is period 2 in this example. By the end of the year, you could have 125 distributors, couldn't you? Period 4, you could have a turnover of over 100,000. And that's what some people are doing. Nikki Kaywood, etc., etc. For instance, who's the lady? I've forgotten her name now. But she just had 141 people join her business in this period. Now, she didn't start off having 141 people join her team. But all of a sudden, as its sort of momentum started to grow, all of a sudden, it's no longer down to her. With that scenario, you could have 600 distributors. And if you only achieve 50% of those objectives, you'll still be turning over £62,000 a month and earning yourself over £3,000 to £4,000 without any personal retail. The one thing is you can't retail your way to the top in this business. And you can't sponsor your way to the top. You haven't got enough hours in the day. The only way is to teach and duplicate your way to the top. You get what you want if you help enough people to get what they want. Okay. 9 core qualities. First of all, use the products. If you don't use the products, what's that saying about you, what you think about them? 2, develop a customer base, either online or via catalogues. You need to be able to do that to teach other people it's achievable. You need to make regular presentations. If you're not presenting to the business to people on a regular basis, then you're not going to get good at it. You need to attend everything you can get onto. Online and put online trainings like tonight, events around the country. If you can get to them, get to them. Have special daily self-development time, even if it's just studying the system. But as I've already said, we've got this book that we're going to start studying in the leadership group. Be coachable. Be open-minded. Become accountable. Too many times people say, oh, it's not working for me because you're not helping me, customers aren't buying, blah, 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 blah. It works for everybody who follows the system and does the numbers. Make sure you edify the organisation. In other words, never, ever, ever run the organisation down. Even if you're having a bad day, please don't post it on Facebook, don't post it in the chat room. Speak to your sponsor about it. But above all else, follow the system. In other words, go core. Right. Okay. I'm going to quickly go through leveraging because it's quite important. I've only got 3 minutes, but there you go. A job is just over broke, you know, or when the alarm clock goes off and jump out of bed. But we have an ability to leverage our time. You introduce 2 people in your team and you teach those 2 to do the same. And they do the same, and down 6 levels, you end up with 126 people. However, if you did one more person, 3, and taught them to get 3, down the same 6 levels, you'd end up with 1,092 people. Now, if somebody worked in a job for 50 weeks in a year, and they worked for 40 hours, that's 2,000 hours, which is what you would benefit from. So if you're being paid £10 an hour, you end up with £400 a week. Yeah, or £10. It's £20,000 a year. Now, if you had, after 5 years, you had 1,000 people, and each of those just worked 2 hours a day in your business, you'd benefit from a year's activity being worked every day. Right. If you had 1,000 people and they each only sold £1,000 in 6 months, you would turn over £2 million. Now, right at the beginning of today, you saw that Amanda and Leo did 1,097 in 1 week, in 1 month. We're talking about 6 months here. It's not easy. It's hard work and education, but you would earn a minimum of £6,000 to £7,000 a month. So, how's it work? You do £1,000. Average time when organised is 10 to 15 hours, and you'll earn yourself £275. All you do then is teach 10 people to do the same. Okay. Group turnover is 11,000. Each distributor is on a 10% bonus. you as team leader on a 24% bonus, you get the difference, which is 14% as a coaching bonus. That will give you between £1,000 and £1,400 every 4 weeks. I guarantee you, if you're doing that, 1 or 2 people in your team want to do the same. I'm going to move on very quickly because I'm running out of time. So I'm just going to do the slides through and you can read them, and I'm going to put it on the recording because otherwise I won't get through it. Okay. Eventually they get 24% bonus. Company gives you a pay rise. So it might be going quick here, but you can watch the video over and over. Okay. How big can it get? If you build 3 businesses, you'll earn yourself £3,000 a month. 4 businesses, £4,000 a month. 5 businesses, £5,000 a month, or 60 grand a year. Plus, you got the chance of bonuses and cars. Go to 18%. There's a new incentive. Go to gold. You get a cash bonus of £1,500, and you can have cars. Help 2 people, 10 grand in cash. Help 5 people, 25 grand in cash, or an Audi TT. Help 5 people get minis, 30 grand, and so on. There are lots of benefits and loads of cars. However, you'll get nothing if you're one of these. I threw my blue boots away years ago. Okay. So